Hello everyone. Today we'll go through the Python code for SVM. We'll use the same dataset that we had used earlier in the last video, where we had 3 points x1, x2 and x3, of which point x2 and x3 came up as support vectors. We had the values of w as 0, minus 0.5. B came up as 0, which means that the hyperplane will be passing through the origin. Let's use the same dataset and use the package that is available in Python and check if we are getting the same result or not. First I create two variables x1 and x2. Then I create a data frame df where I keep the values x1 and x2 in a tabular format. This is how it looks like. Once done, we need to pass these values x1 and x2 as array for further analysis, for which I create xtrain and use np.array so that the data comes up in this particular structure. Let's see how the data point looks like if we plot them. We can reuse this particular code for plotting. We just need to know what variables we need to pass. The green color lines are the ones which I had presumed that this is how the decision boundary will turn up, something somewhere close to the green lines or midway between the two green lines. Or in other way we can say that I thought the point 1 and point 3 will be the support vectors. But now let's import svc from sklearn.svm. Then we pass svc and say that the kernel type is linear. We'll also look at different kernel type in some time. Then we use clf.fit where we pass the xtrain and ytrain values, and the result that we get is same to the ones that we had calculated in last video. Number of support vectors of each class is 1 and 1, that is total 2 number of support vectors. The alpha value which we had is 1 by 8, which is same as 0.125. The w and v values are as well the same. Let's plot this. We can reuse this function plot underscore clf. We just need to know what values to pass. We need to pass model and df. Model is nothing but clf, but again I have written down model as svc, the kernel type being linear, dot fit where I passed xtrain and ytrain. Then I call the function plot underscore clf. This plot gives us the support vectors highlighted in red color. These are the two support vectors. The decision boundary highlighted in black, and as b was 0, so it passes through origin. Now let's look at a case of radial support vector machine. The radial support vector machine, what it does is that it transforms the data into a higher dimension. We had seen earlier that SVM totally depends on the dot product of the data points. So we can easily transform x to a higher dimension as well as x2 into higher dimension, take the dot product and do the classification. So I created a dummy dataset called fruit, which had 4 types of fruits, apple, orange, banana and grapefruit, and each has a value for length and width. So if I plot this is how the graph looks like. So next time a point that falls for length equal to 8 and width equal to 3, we can easily classify it to banana. But what if a point comes in which has width 3 and length 3? So it can either go to the orange bucket or the apple bucket, but SVM helps us to easily classify this particular area. I again reuse the same function plot underscore clf. We know that we need to pass model and data frame. For model I call the function svc, and this time I say the kernel is rbf, and I create the data frame by passing length and width as the variables to x1 and x2. Once done, I call the function plot underscore clf. So here in this case we won't be having any linear decision boundary, rather we will have contours, because what will happen is once we transform the data into higher dimension and then again bring back those points into the dimension that we had earlier, we will have contour shapes, and these contours helps to classify areas like the ones we had highlighted above for the ones which were belonging to both the classes of orange and apples. So here we can say the misclassification rate gets reduced drastically. If we had used a linear decision boundary, the misclassification rate would have increased. So to the last part, to the same three data points that I had used, I just passed the radial basis function to see how it looks like, and we can see instead of putting a line at 0, the decision boundary, it had two different contours for two different classes, and next time any data point that comes and falls between these two contours, it will classify into class -1. Thank you.